On this one, we are looking for the coordinates, the x and the y, of the vertex of the parabola represented by the equation. So this one is based on the quadratic formula. You do not have to do the quadratic formula. We're not trying to solve. We're just trying to find the vertex. But let me just remind you that A is going to be -5. B is going to be +30, and C is going to be -25. So if you wanted to solve this equation, you could using those values. But what I am very interested in is this to start with. Because that A value, the coefficient of the A term, the first term is negative, that tells me that my parabola is going to be this shape. And we are looking for a vertex. Now, it's a -5, so the parabola opens down. This is considered, it's not a slope, but it's kind of that concept. If that term is negative, you're going to have a negative slope. This is a negative parabola. And the vertex is this point right here. So we're looking for the point where this parabola makes that downward turn. That's essentially what we're looking for. And a vertex is a point. It's not just a value. You need an x and a y to have that vertex. So to find the vertex, there are different ways to do it, but I think the easiest way is to take these two elements of your quadratic formula, and we will be able to find the x coordinate for our vertex. So we're going to say that x equals -b over 2a. And this will always work to give you just the x part of your vertex. So b, as we've already described, is 30, and we want to make that -30. And then a is -5, so we're going to bring that in. So we're left with the x part of the vertex being -30 over -10, and x is +3. Now you can look at your choices for answers and know which answer it's going to be. It's going to be C. But if you needed to find the y, I'll show you how. Let's suppose that all of these answer choices had an x value of 3. Then you would have to do the formula to find your y. And to do that, you're going to go back to your original quadratic formula, equation. This is the quadratic formula. This is the quadratic formula. This is a quadratic equation. So I need to use the correct terms. Plus 30x minus 25. And remember, we have determined that the x value is +3. So I'm just going to substitute that into this formula. And if you wanted to write that in function notation, you could. You could say the function when x is 3 is going to be -5 times 3 to the second power plus 30 times 3 minus 25. So I've just written it in function notation. You could also just leave the y in there if you wanted to. So we're going to get -5 times 9 plus 30 times 3 minus 25. So following the order of operations, we're doing the 3 squared. And then we're going to multiply or divide from left to right. So -45 plus 90 minus 25. And then add or subtract from left to right. So we have 45 minus 25, which is 20. So the y value at this point, that function notation goes back to y, and your y is 20. That will always work for finding the vertex of a parabola. And you have to remember this part right here. X is negative b over 2a.